Speaking as someone from one of the most beautiful tropical islands in the entire world, it's perfectly okay for white people to dress up as natives. It's fine when Oran High School Host Club did it, it's fine when you do it as well. However, some people would love to speak over our sensitive asses and would like to step over to take the offense that are generated by the costumes that the white people use. It's all to prevent our sorry asses for being offended, even though we're not really offended. And if we try to speak over those defenders, we shouldn't, because we're not Asian Americans and therefore we're not oppressed. Well, too bad. You really need to start reading this article, Asian Americans, and find out how you are siding with whiteness. I mean, god damn you people, why can't you just take a break for once and not be offended at everything? Oh, sorry, I mean preemptively defending people from being offended.
Is it okay for a white kid to dress up as Moana for Halloween and other cultural appropriation questions?
Yes. I don't know why would you make a Disney movie that kids absolutely love and then tell these kids to not wear the outfits of their favorite character. We need more diversity in movies. Well, here's Moana. Oh no, Moana has cosplayers who are white. Well, let's not make Moana. Oh, but we need more diversity. Bitch, fucking pick one. And before we move even further, this video is brought to you by Leo Pirate and Nate Jones for the pledges on Patreon. You guys are fantastic.
In America's war between cultural sensitivity and free expression, Halloween is a familiar battleground.
All for one reason. We're dealing with overly sensitive people who can't have fun like you. You're the sorts of person who would be better off crying in the corner as tons and tons of people dress offensively at your expense. And you can't do anything about it other than moan.
The holiday, which originated with people dressed in costumes to ward off evil spirits, has morphed into a day that celebrates all kinds of creative self-expression. It means not only do people dress up as witches and monsters, but also as one another. This is where things get complicated, and why you keep hearing the term cultural appropriation in a heated debate each October.
There's only one reason why it gets complicated, and that can be answered by just taking a look in the freaking mirror. Also, since Halloween is a costume that's designed to ward off evil spirits that also morph into a form of self-expression, I think the best way to celebrate this is by dressing in a costume that serves both.
On one side of the controversy are minorities and their allies who say they experience prejudice all year long, so seeing the people who discriminate against them, intentionally or not, dressing up as them on Halloween can be deeply offensive. On the other side are those who believe political correctness has gone too far.
I love that you also include unintentional offense, as if you're trying to police every single one of our actions. I'm still not given a reason to why your moans have to be catered to. We don't really have standards to what is and isn't considered offensive, but you are going to shove your own standards that I have absolutely no idea in why we should follow, nor do I have any idea in why we should agree with it.
Susan Scafidi, author of Who Owns Culture, Appropriation and Authenticity in American Law, said the debate really took off in 2015 when Yale warned its students not to wear certain costumes in Halloween, provoking
Wait a second. Yale. Halloween. 2015. That sounds awfully familiar. Give me a minute.
You have not done that. By sending out that email, that goes against your position as master. Do you understand that?
No, I don't agree with that.
Then why the fuck did you accept the position?
Because
Who
I have
the fuck hired you?
Oh.
I have a different
You
vision
should
than you.
step down. If that is what you think about being a master, you should step down.
Oh.
It is not about creating an intellectual space. It is not. Do you understand that? It's about creating a home here.
Yeah, it's the events from that video. I'm sure you all know about that, but if you don't know about it, well, basically a bunch of students are demanding resignations thanks to a Halloween email, and it got so emotional to the point of, well, that video. I'll leave you to an article that can give you the full context, but man, going back to that was quite refreshing to say the least.
I think that the argument has absolutely become politicized, Scafidi said, but it doesn't need to be. We can all learn to be polite and respectful without being political, and in fact, I think most people want to be.
So how about we dress up in the most offensive Halloween costumes we can think of and see who has the biggest tantrum. Someone once tried to have their child dress up as Trump, and my god, the reaction is really giving me the urge to purge the heretics.
Scafidi spoke with USA Today about the debate and how adults and children alike can be fun, creative, and even subversive on Halloween without unexpectedly picking a fight.
And her standards should be followed because she wrote a book about it? You're not trying to organize a specific Halloween event. You can go ahead and make your own sets of rules there. You're doing it for the general public and not doing the things that you're suggesting makes us the racists somehow.
What exactly is cultural appropriation? Very simply put, we're talking about taking elements of someone else's culture without permission.
I hereby ask the permission from white people for using their language. I'm also going to ask the permission from white people for popularizing Western clothings. Oh, sorry, you don't have to ask white people's permission for those. Okay then.
But how can we live in America and not take bits and pieces of one another's culture? Aren't we built on multiculturalism? It would be terrible if we had all remain in our cultural lanes and only eat those exact same cuisines that our parents and grandparents and so forth ate, and never be able to travel the world by going from one restaurant to another, or to experience other languages and movies and novels, and yes, modes of dress. But it comes down to respect and context.
Both of which are concepts you don't have, you don't understand, and you don't want to understand.
I think that if we're from cultures that have not been historically, especially recently, attacked, oppressed, discriminated against, it might be a little harder to understand. But I think part of Halloween is being creative, and creatively imagining yourself in another form, as another character. So I think we just need imaginings to start early, and imagine how someone else would feel if you dress like them.
You see, I have this typical blue outfit that I always use in my videos right here, and if someone dressed up as me, I would be freaking flattered. But my example is different than yours. A race is not an individual. Moana is not you. Stop projecting yourself into her. It's unhealthy and borderline psychopathic.
What is the line between experiencing someone's culture in a positive way, cultural appreciation, and disrespecting it, cultural appropriation?
You're gonna have to judge it in a case-by-case basis. But since you have no grasp of context and understanding, you're gonna go after someone who only dresses up as Moana, not even mocking her in any way, shape, or form, just because the person is freaking white.
Cultural appreciation is what Scafidi calls good borrowing, making a Moroccan soup for dinner and talking with your family about it. Cultural appropriation can be offensive, turning a hijab into a costume that can mock the person who wears it every day as part of their religion.
And that's because of your own personal take on it. That's your interpretation. What if the person wears the hijab for a different context? One that you clearly do not want to understand, because there are offensive things everywhere and you have to call it out. Another funny thing to note is that there are cases in which white people make foreign foods and just got called racist for it. So you really cannot please these people. Just because we followed your standards doesn't mean that we follow others. And that moment, you just need to ask yourselves, why even bother?
Cultural appropriation can also be offensive when a person doing the borrowing is privileged, while the person who is being borrowed from is oppressed. For example, a white person wearing dreadlocks on Halloween when a black man wearing dreadlocks on a regular Monday gets told, "You can't work here."
Actually, there are white people who wears dreadlocks on a regular Monday as well. So your example is moot here, combined with the fact that you argue about privilege. No, doesn't matter.
How cultural appropriation gets especially tricky on Halloween.
Because of harpies like you.
What happens with Halloween costume is people start to dress up as individuals from other cultures, and it makes people from those other cultures almost feel dehumanized. Like, what am I, a ghost? Am I a unicorn? I'm really just another human being. It can make people feel as though they're essentially degraded.
And all of that thanks to your own deluded interpretation. You are incredibly paranoid. First off, they don't dress up as you. To think that they're dressing up as you is already deluded in and of itself. And second, how can you dehumanize someone for simply dressing up in a cultural costume that the other person is related with? The only way for you to dehumanize yourself is by treating white people as if they're not human at all. And every act that they do is a sin by default. You can treat these people like human beings, or you can treat them as if they're monsters, in which they will treat you as a monster back. Your choice.
So what is okay?
That's a hilarious question. None. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Every single thing that you do, if you're a white person, is a sin by default. We're gonna get to why later.
There are many people who will say, stop taking the fun out of everything. But every culture has sacred items that it doesn't want to be demeaned.
Ooh, nice dismissal of arguments there. Yes, you should stop taking fun out of everything. Check this Cosmopolitan article and look at them replies. Man, those replies. That's one of the worst ratios that I have seen.
If you're caricaturing Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump, that's fine. Those are public figures.
Wait. I thought you said that we shouldn't be political.
Your traditional skeletons and demons and devils, fine. That's also fair game. More fanciful archetypes, unicorns and princesses and fairies, fine, great. But when you start dressing up in something that your neighbor might wear every day, a sari or a kimono or a hijab, then maybe that starts to cross the line.
Keyword, might. Lady, I don't wear my traditional outfit every single day, and if someone wants to use it in Halloween, absolutely, go right ahead and use them. Most Japanese also don't wear kimonos every single day, unless your name is Suzuno Kamazuki.
Some basic ground rules. Do your homework. Put yourself in someone else's shoes, figuratively, before you do so actually, and think about how someone else might feel if you were dressed up as the sexy or slutty version of them for Halloween. Think about whether or not you're turning someone else's everyday 21st century culture into a caricature.
Well, I am in my own filthy brown shoes, and I think you are spouting nonsense. So be gone, evil spirits. Commence purging.
Moral of the story, if we live in a perfect world, we could all dress up as one another without giving offense, but there are historical realities and ongoing social issues, and we just have to respect that that's part of where America is right now, and maybe pull back from that kind of masquerade.
So, the moral of the story is, think about the real world when we're trying to have fun. Remind us about why our world sucks, instead of taking a break just for a moment to enjoy some fun. Jesus Christ, there's a good reason why people say that you are the ultimate killer of fun. You are offended by everything. You want to remind the world that life sucks and people are miserable. You're doing all of that just so that other people can feel as miserable as you. No, we're not as miserable as you. We won't be as miserable as you because we know how to have fun. And if you are offended just because we have more fun than you, then you can go away, cry in the corner, and get yourself properly fucked. Speaking of that Cosmopolitan article, check this out.
The original article, written by Sashi Ferris, discusses how her white daughter was torn between dressing as Elsa from Frozen or the titular character from Moana. Ferris expresses concerns that while an Elsa costume might reinforce notions of white privilege, dressing up as Moana is essentially cultural appropriation, the act of reducing someone's culture to stereotypes and thereby belittling it.
So you're going to offend people either way. Since nothing works against these people, just choose the most offensive ones. What are you going to do about it other than moan? That's all you can do, frankly. Oh, by the way, remember that time where I said that black people are not exempt from the cultural appropriation criticism? Well, apparently that's also still under the debate. Check this out. This black chick is wearing a sexualized version of the Chinese outfit. I personally see nothing wrong with this, but more and more people are coming in to point out, hey, this is cultural appropriation. All you need to do, ladies and gentlemen, is just to sit back and enjoy some brief moments of parasites eating each other. Prepare your popcorns.